Welcome to TechArts presents Over Simplified, the show where we take complicated audio-visual and lighting concepts and break them down into understandable pieces. In this video, we tackle the lighting concept of tracking. Welcome to Over Simplified. When programming lighting boards, there are two ways of conceptualizing how a lighting board thinks. We have presets and tracking. Preset boards are generally the smaller, simpler boards, though there have been attempts at making a professional level preset board, but professionals have overwhelmingly gone with tracking, with Ion, Hog, and MA being some of the most popular. But there are a huge number of choices out there. While each of these have their own unique flavor, the underlying tracking concept is the core of all of them. So understanding the basics of tracking is essential to understanding how to use any of them. So let's get into it. First, we're going to look at presets. You can visualize presets like a stack of paper. Let's program a simple show with presets and demonstrate how it works. So in this hypothetical system, we have two lights. We have an LED uplight and we have a mover. Each of those has an intensity and a color parameter, but only the moving light will have a position parameter. So let's start off with setting up the stage. We've got our massive setup here, and so we're going to start setting up the lighting looks. Start with Q1. Now Q1, we're going to have the moving light on the drummer. Of course, we only have enough money to hire a drummer, not a full band, so we just need one light. And we want the LED uplight that's on the back curtain to be at 100%, and the client loves their logo color, which is orange. And since the drummer is just doing a walk-in look, we're just going to put that at 50%, and since this has a fire theme, we're going to go with a red light for that moving light. Now the second cue comes in, and we need to set up the scene. Okay, well, we want the moving light to stay on the drummer, and we want the uplight to still be 100% orange as per the client's specifications, and we'll keep the drum light at 50%, but we kind of want to change the mood a little bit. Walk-in's over, we want to start building some excitement, and so we're going to turn that light blue. Now, we're going to have an intro video. So the video starts playing. We're not going to move the light, we're going to keep it where it is for now, but we want to go to 0% because now we're going to be playing a video. We want to take the intention off the drummer, so it doesn't really matter, but we'll leave it at blue for now. But we still want the color accents on the back wall, so we'll put that lighting we'll leave that at 100%. Then we move on to the next cue. So now the intro video starts introducing the speaker. So we want to move the light that was on the drum to the speaker. So we're going to have that at 100%. But since the video is just introducing the speaker, not actually speaker, we're going to leave that in blue light. And of course, the uplight is just going to stay. So that is going to stay the same. Then the speaker starts the talk, the keynote. So of course the light will be on the speaker at 100%. But since the speaker is now giving the keynote, we'll change that to white. And we want to change the look a little bit, so the LED uplight will now go to white while the speaker is speaking. And there's our basic cue list. The client comes up and says, you know what, while we're doing the mood change, if we go back to Q2, we had the color here changed to blue, and we left this at orange, but the client didn't really like the way that looked, so we're going to go ahead and change that to blue. And then it goes into the video cue, the next cue, which takes it back to orange, which is what we had before. So if that's what we want, great. But if we want to make this blue affect all the other cues, then we need to go into each of those cues and change the color. Then we go into where the video is introducing the speaker, and we want that to be blue. Then we come here, the speaker speaking, goes to white. That's what we want. Now the client wants, when the speaker is done speaking, to go back to the video look. And the video look was Q3. So what we'll do is we'll go to Q3. So we'll just go ahead and copy Q3, which is our video look. And we'll just go ahead and make that Q6. Now let's see how we would do that with a tracking board. Now a tracking console works more like these transparent overlays. And I'll show you how that works. So once again, we set up the scene like this. That's Q1. Then in Q2, we make the change where we turn the moving light to blue. And that is Q2. And what you notice is that Q2 only records the changes. So unlike our preset board where we record all the information, a tracking board only records the changed information in that queue. And what you have here is now called the queue state. So the contents of Q2 are only this blue change, but the state of Q2 is what you did in Q1 with Q2 overlaid on top of that. And that continues. So for Q3, which is when we start the intro video, we take this drum light down to 0%. And you can see how the Q state stacks as you keep going. Then we keep going. Q4, the video starts the intro to the speaker. So we'll move the light to the speaker at 100%, but leaving it blue, and we haven't touched the LED uplight at all. Then once it's time for the speaker to begin speaking, we change both the color of the LED uplight and the mover to white. So there we have the Q state of the Q stack, which looks exactly like when we had the preset board. But now here's where the differences become interesting. What we did for Q2 on the preset board is we went ahead and changed the color of the uplight to blue. And because we wanted that blue to go through the other cues, we went ahead and changed it in 3, and we changed it in 4, and then 5 went ahead and changed them all to white. So how are we going to do that on the tracking board? Well, we go to Q2 and we go ahead and change the background color in Q2 to blue. And so you can see Q2 again only has the changed information recorded in it. But because Q3 only had this information, that change to blue continues to track through all the cues until we change it again here. So on the preset board where we had to change it to blue in all of the cues that we wanted that change to happen on the tracking board, it happens automatically. But what if we wanted it to change back to orange in this cue? All boards will have a way for you to tell the console to automatically, once you make this change, to then either leave it or go ahead and change it back to the color it would have been had you not made that change. And so in this case, the board is automatically changing this cue to have this information. But for this example, we want to keep it blue. So do that, and you'll see how the values continue to track through until we change them to white. Then we want to go ahead and copy Q3, the video cue, for the closing. So look what happens now. And this is where figuring out how your individual board operates is really important. So if we just went ahead and did what we did before by copy and pasting this, all we're copying is this information. So if we did that, what we would wind up with is this, but that's not what we want. What we want, Q3 we want this to be blue, but because we only copied the cue, we only copied that information. Every console also has a way of copying the whole state of the cue, and that's something you'll have to figure out how your console handles that. But what that means is, let's go to Q3. Instead of copying just this cue, when you copy the state of the cue, the board then goes ahead and says, okay, what is all the information that this cue displays while on stage? And so by copying the state of the cue, you go ahead and tell the board to make a copy of each of the parameters that are in that cue. So then you now have copied everything over. So right there is a very oversimplified way of looking at how a tracking board works. Every professional lighting console has this as the core basic of how it understands and handles data. The specific keystrokes, what particular settings are default and which ones you have to change, are things that you're going to have to research for your particular lighting console. But if you understand this tracking concept, it'll really help you better understand what's going on inside the brain of your console. Now, get to work.